Oh, and thank you to the band. Once again, we are live. And everyone, I want to say a big mniskam to everyone who's joining us. Welcome. Mnis bless. If you don't get that joke, head on over to the Discord and check out the channel called Quack. Links in the description. Okay, so we have a lot to do today, and I don't want to take a huge amount of time, drumming it all up and getting everyone all excited, because the excitement really brings itself, because we have today on stream the one, the only, Quain. Quain, say hello.
大家好. Hi, everybody. Hello.
Quain's here, people, the Tone Master General. Quain, any few words to say by way of greeting to our lovely chat here today?
I guess, yeah. I just said some greetings in Chinese because we're doing Chinese today. And it's exciting because I provided the data, and I would, be curious about, because this is your idea, right? And you're like super excited about this.
I'm very excited.
When you mentioned this, you're like, oh, I can't wait. So
I was doing this. I was sort of giddy, and I was like, oh, we're gonna do this. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Today we're going to give the Sinitic family the historical linguistics challenge treatment. So we're actually going to be doing real reconstruction on a very limited data set. 7 varieties and 8 varieties, excuse me.
Yeah.
The party's gotten bigger. 8 varieties and 30 morphemes. Actually 32, I think, technically, because we have some compounds in there. So yeah, it's going to be intense. It's going to be great. So I don't know. Let's just get the okay from Lucy that the sound quality is okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hi. Testing. Yeah.
All right. Mic 1 check and all that good jazz. Okay. Well, let's say hello to YouTube, and then let's just get this party started. YouTube. Today is another special day. We have a lot of special days around here, but this is the specialist, because we have with us on stream Quain, the one, the only, the Tone Master General. Quain, say hi, Quain.
大家好. Hello, everyone.
And we are going to be giving the Sinitic family the historical linguistics challenge. That means we're reconstructing something Middle Chinese-ish. And we can talk about the details and the asterisks that we need to put.
Not quite, not really, but
the asterisks and the details we need to put beside that once we get into the segment. But that's the clickbait version anyway. There's a little more subtlety, as you'll see. So I think without too much more we have to say, let's just scoot over to the side webcam, get this stuff on screen so you can see the cognate sets.
We have a beautiful cognate set.
We have gorgeous cognate sets here. All right. So 30 rows, 1 for each morpheme or compound, 8 columns, 1 for each variety. We've labeled them A to H. We will we'll reveal at the end what they are, but some of you may know already. But what we don't want is to come in with too many preconceived notions. That's certainly inevitable once you've studied things.
Which I have.
Quain's
that's my whole career.
Quain's full of preconceived notions, as well he should be, frankly. But for us who are not experts in this field, it's nice to sort of abstract away from seeing things like these are 2 kinds of Mandarin, in quotes.
Just treating them as varieties from somewhere.
Somewhere, exactly. So we are reconstructing. The clickbait version is Middle Chinese, but it's not really Middle Chinese, is it?
Yeah, we can talk about that later, but that's there are some varieties that are not direct descendants of Middle Chinese. That's why there's an asterisk to it.
And correct me on this if I'm wrong, but Middle Chinese is usually understood as as an attested written language, with a particular phonological system described in philological works. So when we reconstruct
Correct.
Middle Chinese, it's not like we're doing reconstruction by the comparative method. We're trying to figure out how a writing system of an attested language worked.
It's not really a writing system per se, but it's like there are things that are called rhyme books, right? So like those rhyme books are a dictation of like whatever pronunciation was popular, like back in the time, I think Tang Dynasty roughly. So that at that time, like people actually collected a rhyming dictionary for it's basically like indicating pronunciation with characters. So instead of, because Chinese is a logographical whatever system, so like people wouldn't have alphabets to do that. So like people just used characters to indicate pronunciations. That's basically what it was. But it is written. It has a written like standard, but the written standard is like pretty historical in a sense. Like it's kind of outdated, like through the development of the language's phonologies. So yeah.
If we consider the rhyme dictionaries and the rhyme tables as a kind of writing system, we could maybe approach it from that angle. So we not only have the characters, but we have this way of describing the characters phonetically in some way.
By using two characters, basically. That's the way. Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting some excitement in the chat. Taiga's saying it's like being a kid in a candy shop, seeing these cognate sets, and I'm sure the bright colors don't hurt. So where are we going to start with this?
I don't know. You go.
Okay. Well, I always like to start by finding something that is easy. And I'm looking around at these cognate sets, and I'm seeing we have in row 19 this morpheme we're glossing as old, has an initial L in everything. It should have it in everything. That should be an L.
That should be a
throwback to me hurriedly preparing some of these beforehand. It has an L in every variety, so we can use the convention that we used for our other historical linguistics challenge and say reference 19, word initial L is in every variety. Okay, so that's our first cognate set right there. That's our first correspondence. Please don't underline it. As you know, I'm going to struggle with technology here again. I don't know why they're all underlined. It's fine. So we have our first cognate set there. Let's then see. There we go. No more underline. Let's then see if we have any other initial L's that we can take advantage of.
Maybe 13.
13, okay. 13, we have L's all across the board. So this is the same. This is essentially the same correspondence. So we have a 19 and 13. Anything else? Do we have any initial L's anywhere else?
Scanning now.
Doesn't look like it. Okay, so that is hey, we have our first reconstruction. I think we should reconstruct that as proto-L. Do you concur, Quain?
Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we can then take, I'm going to write in our reconstruction column, which is a little small right now. I can make that a bit bigger. L, question mark, question mark. And similarly in 13, L. All right. Let's go on to another initial. And chat, as always, please throw in your suggestions. You're going to see things faster than I am, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, lead our way.
So please feel free to shout out your suggestions. things, leads, theories, it's all very welcome. But while we're doing this, while we're waiting for chat to get their sort of engines revved up, I'm looking at.
There's a suggestion in the chat which says 17 by Jack.
17. Okay. So this is morpheme meaning ray or light, and we have a pretty consistent K, initial K.
Mm-hmm.
So in 17, we have word initial K in all varieties. All right. So happy to reconstruct an initial K there?
Yes.
All right. So, okay. Now let's see if we have any other K, initial Ks showing up in cognate sets. We have it in 20. So 20 is bimorphemic. And in the first morpheme, we have initial K.
Yeah, I think in all of them, right? Yeah.
Yep.
In all of them.
So that's also in 20A. I'll call that 20A. But in 20B, we have a difference. We have K in the second morpheme in C, D, E, F, G. But we have an affricate in A, B, and H. And so let's look at the environment and take a look at what may have happened here.
Yeah, I think D is interesting. It jumps out to me, right? Because like the KIA, may that be some sort of like middle stage, or right? Because like to have affrication or to have like palatalization, let's call it that. So you need some front vowels, usually, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So this could be a story like French, for instance, where you have ka in proto-romance becoming cha in French, presumably via some sort of fronting of that a. There's got to be something front in there at some point. That's, I think, the most reasonable solution. Or we could have a different one. We could have kya as the protoform, and we palatalize in ABH. We lose the glide in EFG and CEFG, and D is actually the ancestral form. I don't think we have.
Yeah.
I don't think we have enough data to just determine yet. So I'm going to put in our K here, but I think
maybe like K parentheses something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I'll be agnostic as to the vowel for the moment.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's it looks like an ah. Okay, so let's increase the size of this. And let's write down that cognate set. So 20B, this is also word initial, but with perhaps an E or a Y following it. And for the chat, we are using the convention of writing the glides as full vowels, except if they're in absolute onset position. So
yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's just how Chinese linguists have been doing things. Which
So the difference between E and Y is not going to be extremely contentful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have in A, we have this affricate. In B as well, and in H. And then all the rest are K. Okay, interesting. And so I think we're going to reconstruct K for that. Okay. Now, I know. Are you proud of me, chat? Look, I'm handling two open spreadsheets at the same time, going back and forth. Be proud.
Yeah.
Of me. Please clap.
The win of Colin against technology. Us. Something.
Let's not call it yet. Okay, so Ship is saying that we have M in all for morpheme 3, people in everything but language
C.
C.
Yeah.
So, interesting. This is an interesting correspondence. Let's get it down on paper. Pixels, whatever. Because we see this M show up in all of these different varieties and B in only one. The temptation is to say, well, it was M, and in variety C, it changed to B. But you could consider an alternative phylogeny, an alternative sort of branching tree structure, where there was originally B, one variety changed B to M, and then that variety diverged and created A, B, D, E, F, G, H. So that kind of majority rules isn't always 100% convincing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we have enough from this cognate set to tell. It's either B or M. I think that's a fair assessment because those two are not so distant from one another.
Right, and we only have one instance of this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't see anything else.
This is another thing that we're going to have to sort of content ourselves with, is that this is a limited data set, and so there are going to be some indeterminacies in the reconstruction, which is always true, which is almost always true.
And imagine you just have this, like you do some field work, and this is all you can get, and that's what you got to handle with, deal with.
So, okay, that's another cognate set. We're not sure what to do with that one yet.
Yeah.
Jack is saying it could be a pre-nasalized stop. That could be I think that's also a reasonable reconstruction. I think that it all depends on how. So one thing that I think is a good guiding principle is not to reconstruct something that isn't found in any branch, in any of the attested branches, unless you have to. And sometimes you have to. But as I think a methodological preliminary, I would try to avoid it as my first approach. What do you think, Quain?
Yeah. I think that's fair to say. But some, as you said, sometimes you have to. And
Proto-Indo-European laryngeals until Hittite, until the Anatolian languages were around. That was a good example. Although jury's out on whether you had to.
It's debate. It's debatable.
It all kind of comes down to what, there are all these different principles in any kind of science, but in reconstruction in particular, that you have to weigh against each other. And depending on how you value different theoretical virtues, you may make different choices. So, okay, cool. So I'm going to catch up on the chat a little bit now. Okay, so Maddie Cyclops is saying 25 initial aspirated K. Okay, so this is our word meaning roast. We have it as aspirated K in many varieties.
Most varieties, but two.
So in A, B, C,
E and G.
E and G.
H. Yeah.
And H. Excellent. Okay. So we have, and what do we have in F? We have H. And what do we have in D? We have the velar.
The velar. Yeah.
Okay. So thinking of this, is there a directionality of change that you'd prefer? Do you prefer, Quain, a fricative going to a stop or a stop going to a fricative here?
As a historical linguist, I think, the obvious answer would be a stop going into a fricative, because that's easier, or that's called lenition, by the way. That's the term for that.
Yeah, lenition, from the Latin root meaning weakening. So we also have fortition, which does happen, but I believe that fortition is a lot less common than lenition.
Yeah. There are, you can look up papers for that, but let's save it for today.
Yeah. Although I will point out that this is an environment that is perhaps one of the best ones for fortition, which is initially.
True. Yeah.
So if you're going to have fortition anywhere, syllable initially is probably the place. So I don't know. But I agree with you that I have a bias towards lenition.
Yeah, me too. And also consider how like th and ph are also like present everywhere, right? So it's like it's sort of like reasonable to posit a kh.
Okay, so well, knowing that we can always make changes, why don't we posit a kh? And because the shape of the overall phonological system is going to end up being a type of evidence for us once we get there. We're not there yet, but we will get there. Okay, so let's put that in 25. So k. Okay. All right, let's keep going with the chat. Okay, so Taga is saying 4 and 23 exhibit the same initial, likely aspirated T. So let's take a look at 4 and 23. So 4 is our word meaning heaven or sky. And here we have something interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to copy this over. Let's get our cognate sets together. So we have aspirated T everywhere except in D. Interesting. So we have this,
which is an H. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's interesting because aspirated K was a velar fricative, and aspirated T becomes a glottal fricative.
Yeah.
Well, presumably, if that's what we're reconstructing it as, which I think. I mean,
yeah. At this point, I think we can probably be like 90% sure that that is the case because the correspondences they match up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I would be, I think there's a case for fortition of ch to k. I don't think there's much of a case of fortition of h to t. So so that looks like some kind of debucalizing lenition in the case of that. Super. Okay, so that's 4. And what was the other? And 23. Is 23 the same set? Yes, it is. So 4 and 23. Excellent.
Oh yeah, initially 23 is exactly the same. Yeah,
so that is very encouraging. So let's put that in. And I think we're making nice progress here. Okay. All right. So what else do we have on the in the chat? I'm slow. I'm catching up because everyone's had such good suggestions. Galactic Sand is saying that C is either Hokkien or Cantonese, so we'll have to revisit that question towards the end. And Echoed Words, thank you. I'm trying my best with the spreadsheet navigation. Max is saying that 27H looks like the Pequak word for the first person inclusive plural.
Oh yeah, it's exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's a Pequak loan. Because we were all on the mountain. I don't know. That's a joke, in case you didn't know. Okay. So let's keep going.
I see Galactic Sand also suggested something about 22.
22. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
So let's write out this cognate set. So we have aspirated P in A. We have B in B. We have unaspirated P in C. Oh, these letters are getting confusing. In variety C, we have ba. Where did it go? In variety D, we actually have 2.
Oh dear. Yeah, this is getting more and more complicated.
Okay. Yeah. So this is, this is life. It's complicated. And we might have to theorize about why we might have 2 different reflexes of the same, presumably of the same morpheme.
Right.
In some varieties. So, what are we going to make of this cognate set in 22?
Bilabial.
Bilabial. Okay.
Say that much.
It's
Yeah.
capital B. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if we can say a whole lot more about it other than that. Or capital P, I'll say. It's some kind of P.
Yeah, because yeah, it just has like so many varieties, right? So many like, yeah.
Although interestingly, that pattern of lenition in D holds true. At
For
least
the
for one of
F.
the for one of
Yeah.
the two, not for the other one, which is interesting. All right. So, let's see. Okay, Maddie Cyclops is calling our attention to 29. 29, the word for alcohol. So here we have some affricates everywhere. Different varieties.
All of them are. Yeah.
All right, so let's see. We have TS, TS, great. Okay, and so this looks like it's before a front vowel some of the time. Although if you have palatalization, that information is now carried on the consonant, that there used to be a front vowel there, and I can understand why you might want to anthropomorphize a bit, get rid of it. So I'll put a question mark in for that. But I think here we have a good case for reconstructing this as tsa, I think, as Maddie Cyclops suggests.
Yeah.
Simply because I think tsa to sh, when there's a front vowel in the mix, makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And it's a pattern that we've seen a little bit before. Where
in the ge to j business, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So let's put that reconstruction in. Okay. All right. Then let's see. Maj is saying that 5 and 30 show some link between H and F. So it is. Let's take a look at 5.
5 and 30.
So 5 has this. They have different patterns. 5 has the correspondence F, V, H, and maybe HW. I don't know if we want to count that as part of the as part of the correspondence. I'll put it in parentheses just in case. What's my motivation for doing that? It's simply that w is part labial but part velar. And since we're having a correspondence set with labials, that glide may be relevant, especially because it's not present in any other variety. F, F, V, F. Okay. And then let's look at 30. 30 is H, 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 Ch, velar fricative, labiodental, 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 and H again. Interesting. And I think it's relevant that it is next to an U in many varieties. A round vowel, at least. Which, you know, if we think of Japanese, the Japanese allophonic rule where we have a bilabial, an alternation between a bilabial, a fricative, and and H.
Jack is saying on the chat that 30H could be a velar fricative, which I agree.
All right. So then let's correct that, and that's on me. I did call him H. So thanks, Jack. All right. So good. So I think that's relevant to that cognate set. I'm not ready to call it yet, though. Do you have any strong thoughts about the reconstruction of either 5 or 30, Quain?
I think the presence of V intrigues me in 5 compared to 30, right? Because like 30 is like all either it's all voiceless. Yeah, put that way. Yeah. But 5, there are some V's, which make things more interesting. I don't know. I can't make any like conclusions off the top of my head, but yeah.
One thing that occurs to me is thinking back in the history of English, we have a change of velar fricative to F that we see in words like laugh.
Yeah, so, and that's why like the spelling of GH is so messed up, right?
Yes.
Because
yeah. So that's in my head as I'm seeing this cognate set, because in a way we could be looking at, German and English with this ch, correspondence. Anyway.
Right.
Okay, why don't we leave that? Let's scroll down in the chat. And I there have been so many good ideas. I haven't had time to go through them all. So I'm going to scroll down. Unfortunately, there have been a few that I don't know where. Okay. So Grendel Mraz is saying that 15 looks fun.
Fun, yeah, fun.
Yes. It's just so let's look at that one.
Fun or fun. Yeah.
All right. So what is this correspondence set? We have V, V, B, M/V, V, M, V, W. Very interesting. Very interesting. Now, given that so D is our Leniting language. I wonder if B is kind of a bit different, because C, language C, the green one. It's a bit different because this is the only one in our cognate set for the word people, where we have a B, everything else has an M. And then here we have a B there and everything else has an M, a V, or a W.
Yeah.
There's something interesting going on here. But I don't know exactly what. And maybe the following vowel is relevant. I think once we've done a good run through the initials, we can look at the syllable nuclei, and maybe that will clear some things up once we start reconstructing them.
Yeah, but so far is E and U before E and U when it turns, not turns, when it is B in D. Wow, that's confusing.
Yeah, that's what its reflex is in C, but its reflex in other varieties are or. So I mean, I think for 3, we have E E E E E E E.
Yeah.
Very hard to say too much about this at this early stage.
Yeah, like vowels are tricky. Like they're just inherently movable.
They're trouble. That's what they are.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's then continue on, and Maddie Cyclops is saying 8 and 27 look like they're related. So these are our words for 3 and mountain. So let's take a look here. So in 8, for the word for 3, we have S's across the board except in D, which is really weird.
It is.
Because in D we have T. This is our Leniting language. What's going on?
I don't know. Yeah, because that's very weird. Yeah, as you said, that's very weird.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we can look at 27.
Let's look at 27. let's see if that clears it up, because we have
What's
S's.
happening?
So we have S's, and then we have T/S in D. Interesting. And then what do we have going? We have SSS and then retroflex S. Then we have our quack word there. Shan. So this is our word for mountain. So this is very, very close to what's going on with the word for three. The only difference is...
that T/S is kind of, interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm looking through these double reflexes in D. And often it seems that we get one that's more like the other languages and one that's not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can say it so confidently.
Yeah, I don't know if I can tell you anything because I know what it is, but
Yeah.
that's
I mean, I sort of suspect what it is.
mm-hmm.
I have a theory that we're dealing with doublets here. Maybe thinking on analogy to the Romance languages, we get cases where there is an inherited form, and then there's a form that's reborrowed from the literary version of Latin, which is also more or less the proto-language. So we have the same root coming in via two means, and therefore you get, if you were just looking at correspondences, you get these dual reflexes. But it's because one of those reflexes just skipped a bunch of sound changes.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's something like that.
Yeah, or it like preserves something, or like it is borrowed from other varieties. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So
we could also have cross-dialectal borrow or cross-linguistic borrowing, interfamilial borrowing. I don't know how you want to term it, but something like that is a possibility as well. So when we see something that's odd, sometimes it has to just be odd. Yeah. All right. All right. So, if you're odd out there, just let that be a nice pep talk for you as well. I know I'm odd.
Yeah. You're unique as you are.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. All right. So let's keep on trucking. Maddie Cyclops is saying, Echoed Words is saying, let's go in order. 16 has some stuff going on. Indeed it does. Let's do the correspondence set for 16. So we have...
Dear. That's a spicy one.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What's going on with B?
Yeah, B is B has some weird thing going on.
With a bilabial fricative at the end?
Yeah.
Like, ho?
Yeah, ho.
Ho?
Ho.
All right. Well, we'll get to that, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right. H is all around. And then W, V, and the velar fricative.
Yeah. B is just the funkiest one in the room so far because it has a lot of spicy phonology.
Mm-hmm. Very spicy.
But tasty. Spicy but tasty. You know, you like spicy.
I do. I have to admit it. Okay. So, yeah. What can we make of this? The W and V. So if F and G didn't exist, I would feel comfortable calling this H, proto-H, and positing fortition in branch H.
Mm-hmm. What about B then?
Yeah. What about B as well?
Yeah.
Voicing? I don't know. Initial voicing, that classic rule that every language has? No. That's okay.
No,
so
yeah.
maybe what we should be positing is initial voiced the ah vowel, and then devoicing in A, C, D, E, and then further fortition in H. And then, starting out from a voiced place, we're not as far from F and G, although we're still pretty far.
Oh, yeah, interesting. Because like B, F, G, they are all voiced. So that makes sense.
Yeah, but these W and V are just completely different. What if we're dealing with an initial cluster like hua? When we lose the second element and everything, but F and G, we lose the initial element in F and G, and then we go W to V and G.
And let's check something about the vowels then. So o, u, o. So some kind of back thing.
Except in D we have wa.
Yeah. Wa.
Which looks kind of similar to wa.
Yeah.
Hua, wa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not a huge stretch. Yeah. No.
I'm going to put a big question mark beside this, but I'd like to write down something like hua.
Yeah, something like u, and some kind of capital A, or
maybe question mark there.
Yeah.
Oh, Jack points out that 20D has kia, which preserves the glide, just as 16 has hua. So in D, 16D we have hua, and in 20D we have kia. Whereas in other languages we lose that glide.
Yeah, interesting. Is that a preservation or it's an innovation? That is the question.
That is always the question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Echoed words. This is going to be a long YouTube video. Yeah, I think we can. I think we can just.
Yeah, we can stop there maybe, and put a segment break.
Okay. And we'll stop here then. We'll stop here. And we'll put in a cut for YouTube, the good people of YouTube. We'll say farewell to you for now. Come back and see what kind of trouble we get ourselves into with this reconstruction. So come back. See you next time. And until then, birai.
Yeah, birai. Bye for now.
Okay, chat. This is fun. When I'm doing this, I don't even notice the time going. Max says, I don't see any words for super stew here. I wonder why. Well, because Quain and I have to stay civil and cooperate throughout this entire segment.
Although, you know, we have our differences. We have our
But you know, we're trying to stay away from any really hot button issues.
Right. Which you will probably see in quite a few moments later.
Indeed. All right. So shall we go back to a little bit more reconstruction? Do another segment, maybe half an hour, then jump into Quat?
Right. Yeah, I think that's ideal.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, everyone, we're gonna jump back in, and all right, I don't know why I trailed off like that. There's nothing left to do but to do it. So, YouTube, welcome back. We are reconstructing some kind of Middle Chinese-like thing here with Quain on stream. So far, we've got a good handle on some initials, but we're climbing the mountain. What else can we say?
Yeah.
So
it's a huge shan to climb.
It is. It's a huge shan to climb. All right. So let's scoot over to the side webcam, get everything back on screen. And we are back. Okay. So we have a few initials confidently reconstructed. We have a few initials unconfidently reconstructed. And then we have a few that we're just puzzled about.
Yeah, we're even more unconfident about. So I see a suggestion that we look at one, which is super interesting, but it's something that is
morpheme one or the morpheme that means one.
Oh no, Sunday. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. So let's look at this one. We have a really, really interesting correspondence set here. y, and then the palatal nasal /z. Then we have l. Then we have z. Then the palatal nasals back. And y again. And then n, z. And then this friend. This friend. R. Okay. What on earth is going on here?
Yeah, chat, we need your help.
Chat, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Retroflex
The
approximate.
N's and the Z's and the L's and the R's and yeah, just everything.
The fact, okay, so if we had no nasals in here, I would be happy to do something like lia, either the true palatal lateral lia, or an L yod cluster, because I can see how you'd get to ya. I could see how you'd get to ra. I could see how you'd get to
Yeah, I can see that too.
But
yeah.
that crossing that nasal divide seems to be.
Yeah, and the Z though, like the Z is a bit far from yeah.
Well, the Z is, we know of cases where ya and z, where ya and z are related in some way.
Yeah.
You know, you can think of ya undergoing fortition to ja, and then you're halfway there. But the nya, I don't see gaining nasalization that easily with the rest of these. So either I think the proto-language has a nasal, or is a nasal palatal cluster, or is a palatal nasal itself. But then how do we get to H from that? And how do we get to Z from nya?
Yeah.
Maybe
it's a cluster. Don't know.
So we have this. We're using clusters potentially to solve some of our problems here. In where did we also use a cluster? In 15. Or sorry, in 16. And do we notice that D maintains this glide? Do we have the same thing happening here? We do not. So we don't have a glide showing up in D, which we used in 20 and 16 to say, hey, we're onto something maybe with this cluster analysis. Maybe it's not a cluster. This is a tough one. This is maybe the toughest one we've had so far.
Yeah, maybe let's just hold it back.
Okay, let's hold it back. Yeah, okay, so
yeah.
The relationship, echoed word says the relationship does seem to carry across into 2, with the exception of B, which doesn't have the palatal nasal. Let's take a look at that then. Maybe that can shed some light on the situation. Yeah, so this looks basically like the same correspondence set, except we don't have the doublets in B and G. So if we don't have the doublets in B and G, maybe this is the regular reflex, z, and n or nya is a borrowing. Given that we have nya in E, which could be a source, or maybe it's
Yeah, I'm not sure actually, like whether it's that way or the other way. Like both can be sort of argued
yeah.
in a sense.
We have this issue. What do you think the two most what would you say the two most likely or the two best reconstructions for this sound? What would you say they are?
Yeah, I would not give up the nasal actually, because I can see how a nya turning into la, ya, and ra in a very roundabout way. But yeah.
Yeah, nya going to ya, fine. Nya
Fine.
going to la.
It's like nya, ya, la, maybe. What's the vowel after la?
The vowel after la is e.
Yeah, it's e, right? So it's like ni, li, like yeah.
I mean, I don't see it, but
Maybe.
you know, maybe. Yeah.
And some sort of like the z sound, as you said, it can come from ya, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what? Yeah, in a fortition kind of way.
Yeah, this is either something like a palatal nasal or some kind of
Palatal lateral.
palatal
Yeah,
lateral. I think that.
yeah.
So let's write down those as our choices. I think of the two palatal nasals, the better reconstruction, although it has things that make me wonder. Gotta get the palatal lateral here.
Like the whole set is just like full of wonders.
That is wild. Okay. All right. Okay, so shall we what?
No, go. Yeah, I was gonna suggest that we should look at something even more interesting and challenging.
Let's do it.
Look at 11, which is a cursed set.
This is cursed. So, yeah. I don't even know what we're going to do for the first for A. So I'm going to leave it out for the moment. So we have nga. We have ga. Maybe with a wa. We have v.
V and the.
Z. Okay. And then we have nga again. And then we have ya. And so it's either nothing for A or
some kind of ya kind of thing.
Yeah. And then in G we what?
We have a B.
We have a B. Okay. Cause why not?
Yeah.
Okay. Or we have a B or a palatal nasal. And we have a ya in H. So here we have another case of a nasal that I want to reconstruct the nasal because I can see nasals falling outward initially, like the velar nasals in particular. Given how uncommon it is typologically in that.
Yeah, and also given the difficulty of English speakers trying to pronounce them, right?
Yeah, but that's most languages do change because English speakers would, they know English is going to come around in a few thousand years, and so they're like, we got to get rid of this before they get here.
No, but Vietnamese be like nguyen, like we can pronounce that, no problem. Anyway.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, I mean, it still does remain in B, so we know it's possible, and I mean, we can just do it. Nga. There you go. But there does seem to be something.
Yeah, B B and E like retain, quote unquote, retain the velar nasal, so to speak, right? And C, yeah, it's coming to G, which makes sense because M turning into B. It's a similar, right? It's a analogical or yeah, whatever. Like it's a similar change. Yeah.
So given that, I'm actually comfortable reconstructing an initial ng here and an initial m in 3.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, I think that's I'd probably want to be a little bit more careful and see more, but for the purposes of today, I think we've seen enough data to make that hypothesis at least.
Right.
So what was that? That was 11, right?
That was 11.
The word meaning moon or month. Okay. So, right. Got lots of good stuff in the chat here. Lots of questions. Okay. How far apart from their last common ancestor are these languages? Asks Echoed Words. And that's kind of a question that we would have to answer.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out because we don't know yet.
We don't know yet. Grendel Mraz says 9 looks fun. Yeah, 9 is another compound. So what's going on with 9?
Okay, we're just doing the fun ones because that's what we have time for.
So the boring part. T D T / T implosive D.
Yeah, it's an implosive. Look.
There it is. Aspirated T, unaspirated T, D, and T. Now, where have we seen something like this before? I'm thinking of 22.
22, yes.
Where we have this implosive. And we have a voiced in G. We have a voiced in B. We have the implosive in D. The difference is we have an aspirate in H, which we do not have here.
Interesting. So 22, 22H has an aspirate, while 9H doesn't, right?
Which is slightly odd, but interesting nonetheless. And then the second one, which is a little more intense, is this. Sh, h, nothing / H.
Nothing.
H, H. Voiced H and sh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm feeling voiced H here. Look at the difference between
could
this.
Be. Judging from our previous reconstruction of voiced H. But that is quite different, actually. So,
but look at what's next to. It's next to a. Well, let's go back to 16. It's sometimes at least next to a w, although sometimes not.
But in 9B is it's like o, a, o, and e. Yeah. So a wide variety of vowels.
And if in 16 it's next to back and central unrounded things, a, o, u. So it's next to basically every vowel but e.
Yeah, so it seems like the vowels are conditioning a lot of things that we're missing out on.
Mm-hmm. And we won't be able to get to that until we start reconstructing some vowels. All right. So what have we not touched in terms of initials? So I'm gonna put a little mark in anything we've looked at. So this is going to be our mysterious initial. Mysterious initial. We liked M for this in the end. We haven't touched. We don't know about 5. We've touched it, but we don't know about it. We haven't touched 6. We haven't touched 7. 8 we have touched. Okay, so maybe before we go on, anything, can we call this an S? I'm really tempted to call it an S.
Yeah.
Because what else could it be? A T? Well, could it be a T?
I'm not comfortable with both, like, weirdly enough, because T to S or S to T is not that common of a sound change. I don't think.
But can I also point out that we have a reconstructed TS, like an affricate.
Oh. But that affricate actually like shows up everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So like you can't just say TS goes to T in this and goes to S in that, because we have TS.
Exactly.
So,
this is our problem. Yeah. So it's either S or T, but it's not TS. That's what we're left with so far.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, if S seems to be the common denominator or like something like that. Yeah,
when we see something that we want to reconstruct as T, that will help us. So maybe there's
we have a lot of like T-like stuff, because right in a 9, for example, like it's a T, it's a alveolar something. Right. So
this is going to let's call this a T, big capital T, which means we don't know what to do with it yet. And then let's call the initial in 9B a capital H. Does that?
Or just the voiced one.
The voiced one. Said, right? Yeah, because we've already started down that road, so why not?
Yeah.
Okay. So then in that case, I'm going to call this big S. It's big, which means we don't know what it is yet. All right. And then we have also touched 11, and we've reconstructed the velar nasal. We haven't touched 12.
I think 12 is a similar situation, actually, where D behaves weirdly. Yeah, it turns to T again if we're positing some sort of like S sound.
Okay, let's write out the correspondences for that. So this is 12. So here we have like a palatalized version of this sound. S, S. So I'm going to posit there may be a front vowel after this.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And I'm going to reconstruct this as S, as capital S.
Yeah.
And what would be interesting to do after we finish this is to compare this to the transcription of Middle Chinese as it's been reconstructed.
I would suggest we wouldn't like reveal it at the end and let people just think in and maybe have some fun with it and see.
Yeah.
Because
let's not reveal it today.
Yeah, not today.
Because we won't be finished anyway. So we'll have to come back and complete it another time.
Right.
Okay, so if we can complete the initials, I will be happy.
Right.
Like the first round through. So we've touched 15. That sounds wrong, but nevertheless, here we go. And we've looked at 16, and this is where I have that sort of
like a hua, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I don't
a
know.
voiced H. Yeah.
That's dubious, I think, still, but what else have we not looked through? 22,
It's like a capital P, right?
capital P. 24 looks,
Capital S, I would say,
yep,
right? Because
it's
it's like the same thing. Yeah.
it's the exact same thing. Almost. G has a different reflex.
Okay. Yeah, but it's S, so like nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, and
New
actually
there.
so does C.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's reconstruct that as S and explain the other stuff using vowel magic.
Right.
So S. What else do we have? We've looked at 27, which we also said was S. And 30, we're still a bit confused by. All right. Oh, chat says apparently YouTube glitched a bit. We were just too powerful.
Oh, it did? I didn't see it.
Yeah,
Too
apparently.
bad that I missed it. Yeah.
But we're back. And we have a few more to look at. So let's continue. Quain, do you want to walk us through 6 while my voice rests a bit?
Okay. So 6, we have yeah, glottal stop with some kind of yeah-like thing. So I would just would put that into parentheses. Okay, 接, which is super interesting and weird. Didn't expect that. Versus a glottal stop with a yeah again. So here we go. Yeah. For D, we have Z, and Y. And E, yeah, yeah. Okay. So E, yeah.
Okay.
Cool. What do you reckon?
Apologies for that. Yeah, I think we may be dealing with fortition of an initial yod in the case of C and D.
Yeah,
that's my
makes
instinct.
sense. And yeah, because like A, F, G, H are all yeah. So yeah, I would happy to put a yeah there.
The only question is, do we see this kind of fortition anywhere else in D and in C and D? We see Z show up in D, which we talked about as perhaps being fortition of ya, so that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, D seems to like the Z phoneme a lot because it just shows up everywhere.
Okay, so I'm happy with reconstructing a yod here.
Yeah.
So, and you know, as we think about our methodology, our first pass through this is just really assembling these correspondence sets. The reconstructions are very tentative at this point. What we need to do after we've done this, is to go over the system that is created by this reconstruction and sort it out a little bit better. But for the purposes of what we're doing today, this is good. I'm gonna change this so that it's still colorful. There we go. All right. What else? Okay, so 2. Oh dear.
This is quite disastrous. So we have nothing followed by R, just yeah.
I think we're going to have to put in the vowel.
Yeah.
because it seems implicated.
Like, some of them are not even vowels. That's
Yeah.
just wild. Yeah.
Like, look at G. It's just a syllabic velar nasal.
Oh God. Yeah.
So it does seem that there is an affinity between A and H.
Yeah.
In this cognate set, at least.
Yeah.
This R versus business.
Yeah. I mean, there are. I'm just looking through. A big difference is that only H has the phoneme, while A doesn't.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah, but that's like probably the only, not the only, but the main difference between them. Yeah.
Although it does encode a position, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, we have.
I think.
Oh, sorry.
Go
I was
ahead.
going to say from the chat, Kat Misberg says for 6D, the two words have different vowels, codas, and tones. So maybe ziak is not a cognate. 6D. So this is this word meaning one.
It could be because it could be that is the way or the other way around. You can't be sure because like we've seen a lot of like correspondences between y and the in all other varieties in D, right? So we know that D likes the z sound. So maybe the is a cognate. We can't really be sure which one was borrowed. Yeah, but it does make sense that the IT thing looks a lot similar to the other ones.
Especially to E, well, to C and E especially.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so any thoughts on what our initial for item 7, the number 2 might be?
Maybe some kind of nasal.
Yeah, here we have another one of these strange nasal situations. Actually, it's very similar to the one, the sun/day correspondence set. In a way. So that's here. Ya, nya /z, la, z, right? So these are all quite close, actually.
Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, there are some major differences. A doesn't have y anymore.
Right.
And so nya, z, la. Yeah, but the yeah, I see what you mean. Like the overall structure is kind of the same.
We might be able to derive this difference from some difference in the syllable nucleus.
The vowel. Yeah, again, blame the vowels. Like
blame the vowels.
It's always the vowels.
Okay, so I think we should narrow this down to the palatal nasal at this point. I don't think the palatal lateral is good for 7, 1, and 2. And I think they are the same cognate set or the same correspondence set. So let's say nya, which is weird, but this seems irreducibly weird. And of all the weirdness, this seems to be the least
wording there. Irreducibly weird. That's fantastic.
Irreducibly. Well, that was the name of my band in high school.
Oh dear.
You can't see this, Quain, but I just flashed a grin at the stream, as if to say, can this man be trusted? The answer is absolutely not. So, let's put in
irreducibly not, shall I say?
there's one thing that bothers me a little, which is 26.
Okay, let's look at that.
With this reconstruction. So this is the word for woman. And it actually does have a palatal nasal in A and B.
And yeah, it's all nasal, right?
Yep, except for F and
Yeah,
C.
F. Yeah, F is a. Yeah, but you know, N and L, they are pretty
Apparently
close together. Yeah,
like
apparently.
my well, yeah, I guess I don't know. I just don't think of them as that
Yeah,
close together.
they're both alveolar. They're both sonorants. So like, why? Yeah.
Why do we let these petty things like plus minus continuant, plus minus nasal come between us?
Yeah. I like nasal. Just don't care. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so N and L.
Yeah.
So then, how are we going to deal with this?
So nya la na nya na. I would say na personally rather than nya.
And then we get this palatal nasal just through assimilation?
Yeah, just through, because there are some like e and u, that kind of vowel. So
and
that is pronounced z, by the way.
Very cool.
Which is a very wild pronunciation.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So if we have this as proto-N and say that there's something
followed by a e or u or there's some kind of high front thing.
I mean, except for the fact that D is nu, C has lu.
Oh, the u and u and e, they're all connected.
It's all connected, man.
It's all connected. Yeah, exactly.
And G has ah. I mean, they're all vowels. Who's counting?
Oh dear, G is being G. Yeah, just don't mind it.
I like to point out one of these as being the problem case, but they're kind of all the problem case.
Yeah, it's fascinating how they can all be the problem cases.
Okay, so
which, just testifies as how difficult like being a Chinese linguist is. You got to deal with this stuff.
Speaking of how to deal with it, we're getting some suggestions in from the chat. Jack Wren is saying, could the palatal portion come from a liquid, some sort of a rhotic? It could become a glide.
Which one is Jack referring to?
In 7.
Oh, in 7. Okay.
Jack says further down the chat, I think in 1, 2, and 7, there's some liquid between the initial nasal and the vowel that's throwing everything off. In 26, that is absent.
Liquid between the nasal and the vowel. Interesting. Oh, so that is how, like in A, it behaves differently, right? Because in 1, 2, 7, A loses the nya that we posited, but in 26, it retains it.
Right.
Right.
And so in that case, do we need a separate reconstruction? So
but we did 1, 2, 7 and 26 differently, right? Because we are saying that 26, the rise, the so-called rise of palatal nasal in 26 is because of the vowel following it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said "n" there, and you kind of agreed, right?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Jack's given us an interesting alternative perspective here. I wonder. We have not yet taken a second break because when we do, we're going to have to put this down, and I'd like to get us to have at least seen all of the cognate sets. So let's quickly finish up in the next couple minutes and just discuss. So let's keep our n reconstruction for now, but I'm going to put a question mark beside it. So 25n. Okay, so let's talk about, what do we have? We have 10, which seems like another S.
Yeah, capital S. Yeah, some sort of S kind of thing.
It's very similar to 24. Are there any differences actually at all between 10 and 24? S, sh, s, sh.
The.
Little bit of difference here and there, but
yeah, just the sh. So it's like it's a capital S.
Yeah. Okay, so that's good. S something. Then let's look at 14.
K. So k, ch, with a and in all the ch cases is like followed by some high front thing.
Okay. So I am comfortable reconstructing this as aspirated k.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so that is good. We can, oops, that's wrong. We can put that in. Next we have the word for way, which we have this sort of TD.
Yeah.
TDT, implosive D, aspirated TDT. It's very similar to, actually I believe it's identical to 9A.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that's our capital T right there. And then,
and 21 seems to be another capital T because it behaves a bit different.
Right, very, very slightly different. 21. So here we have a TH, aspirate, voiced, unvoiced. Then we have this interesting implosive /H. We see this /H a few times. Well, no, just in 14.
Yeah, we've seen actually H coming from TH, right?
Right. And so there we go.
Yeah.
T. This is TH. This is TH. This is D. This is TH. So we've seen this pattern before where sometimes, for example, H has the aspirate in the cognate set, and sometimes it doesn't. So for example, we reconstructed 4 and 23 as TH, as aspirated T.
Right.
And so this looks like it should be as well. But there's a bit of a difference, which is that it has these.
I think the main difference lies in B and G, varieties B and G. Yeah.
And
so if
half of D.
Yeah, if you posit the same thing, you have to like somehow justify it using the vowels or something like that. Which, or the tone. We haven't. Can't believe we haven't talked about tones at all.
We have the Tone Master General on, and we haven't talked about tones.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
Well,
we will.
That's what the next episode's for.
Yeah.
All right. So then our last one is this treat or govern word, which.
Okay, we have some African business going on.
Oh dear.
So.
I just look at this. Z, syllabic rounded Z.
Yeah. Try pronouncing that.
Okay.
Z. Yeah, basically.
How did I do? Wow. Okay.
It's like a bee or like some kind of like mosquito or something like that.
I'm
Like,
getting
I think.
reminiscence of swa.
Us. Yes. Yeah.
It's the voice version.
Yeah. Oh my god.
We have fun.
Oh dear.
Okay, so this is an interesting cognate set. It seems to be some sort of affricate.
Yeah.
That.
But the voicing of it seems like ambivalent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like we have we have yeah.
So
you know.
we are gonna need to deal with this ambivalence
Yeah, it
in
seems
voicing.
like that. Yeah, there are a lot of like voiced versus voicing, like transformation.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So I don't know if we want to reconstruct this as a tsa as well, given that we have that in the system already, but it was a lot easier for that one.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards actually DZ kind of, yeah.
Okay,
sound.
let's put it in as DZ.
Yeah.
And I think we should probably call it there.
Yeah. Do we have 30? We do.
We do. We just don't know what to do with it.
Oh, yeah. It's just a question mark, like alone. Yeah, hanging out by itself. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think we've made good strides today.
Right.
Okay, everyone. Yeah. This is historical linguistics. This is
yeah. This is hard work. Like, come on. This is the meat of linguistics.
This is the of it. You know.
Oh. Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we wish our friends watching on YouTube a pleasant day and thank them so much for joining us. Thank you, YouTube. And Quain, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah. Goodbye. Bye for now.
Bye for now. See you next time.
Birai.
And birai. Okay. Whew, that was fun. Vampiricon asks, where can we get these cognate sets to play with? We can post the spreadsheet to Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll do that after the what's it called? The break, which is now.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a mini series? Yes, I think it has to be.
It has to. Like, we're not just gonna like we're
not gonna leave you hanging like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I might, but Quain wouldn't. Kat Misberg asks, where did you get the cognate sets? Interesting question.
Oh, we created it out on our own. So yeah.
We assembled them together hastily this morning. Not hastily, with great care. Well, I was hasty. Quain took great care. And the sources were, for me, Wiktionary, which has pretty good coverage, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And Quain, for you.
And for me, it's me, which is somehow better than Wiktionary. I don't know.
This is like that moment when the Beatles said they were bigger than Jesus. You know, Quain just said, I'm better than Wiktionary. So
I am better than Wiktionary, indeed.
Lucy, that's for the intro. All right. Okay, so is it time for some quat?
Oh, your vowels are like flying. It's quat, not quat.
My vowels are flying. Give them a chance to fly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Fine. Quat. Right. So, before we do that, I want to catch up on chat. Yes, Pixel Music. You can reconstruct something like Latin from the Romance languages. You'll be reconstructing Proto-Romance, and actually there is a dictionary of Proto-Romance that was reconstructed in this way. That's being worked on right now. And there was actually a paper I think it's from the 70s, where someone wanted to make a point by saying, what if if Latin were not an attested language? What would we reconstruct for proto-Romance? And then showed how much of Latin we could reconstruct and how much we couldn't. Of course, Latin as it's attested and proto-Romance are not exactly the same thing, but obviously there's a relationship there, and it's interesting to ponder that when we do our own reconstructions, because if those languages were attested, they wouldn't look like our reconstructions. They would look a lot like them.
Yeah, like similarly, we do have like written material of about Middle Chinese, right? So like this exercise shows the power of reconstruction. Like even though you don't have the attested like whatever, it's still somehow reconstructible. Though we do have like many doubts when we're reconstructing, but it's a part of the process.
And in a way, I have this beginner's luck in the sense that I am not very well versed on that philological literature of Middle Chinese.
Many times I had to refrain myself of like suggesting the right, quote unquote, right thing, because
exactly
I do this. Yeah.
Exactly. But Quain has that background. So very, very excellent use of restraint today.
Thank you.
All right. So let's go into the next segment. Let's say hello to YouTube. 1, 2, 3. YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
We got Quain here.
Hello, Yar.
Liar. We are going to be working on the language that time forgot, and by time I mean me.
Us too.
I wasn't going to loop you in there, Quain, but
it's fair to say
I mean, we're sorry, Quat, but we're going to make it right now. So let's go back in and let's get back to work.
Make it more exciting. Yeah.
Scoot this. Okay, so we are in the spreadsheet. And what is this language? What's the deal?
It's tonal, and tonal. That's what it is.
We have one sentence so far in the attested Quat corpus, which is listed on screen here. And Quain, do you want to do the honors? You have greater control of your tonal apparatus than I do.
Okay, let me try. Hot Vicky Sunyam. Yeah.
Which means the owl eats stew, the chicken eats soup.
Oh, I forgot the Sandy. Oh my god, my bad. And I'm not really sure what it is, but we're figuring out things right now.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
I've forgotten more about this language than I have.
Yeah, I think we both did, but yeah.
So
okay, we can take a look at the phonology and see if we want to like add or change anything before we go on.
Okay.
Shall we?
Let's do it. So we have this three-way distinction in our stop series. We have the aspirate, the unvoiced, and the prenasalized. We have the prenasalized in parentheses for some reason, which I don't recall.
I think it's because it's an allophone of the nasal before initially.
Yes. Okay.
That's why. See, I remember things.
See, Quain remembers. So let's. Is it written down anywhere? I've Kaparsky written here for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah. So let's write down this rule, which is prenasalized stops.
Hi, Kaparsky.
Are allophones of nasals in word initial position?
Yeah, I think that's the case, yeah.
Except not the palatal the palatal nasal. Because we have nyam or
Yeah,
nyam.
interesting. Because we don't have anything to let it become with, unless we want to add the cursed nya, which is a bit much.
Yeah. That poor sound.
Yeah, I'm fine with what it is. Like, let's be honest. Yeah.
Okay, so this is interesting because you sort of get the sense of different subsystems within the phonology, that in this language, nasals and stops, these series, the labial, the dental, the velar, nasals, and stops are kind of one thing. And then the palatal nasal is a nasal, but it's not part of that.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a historical reason for that. And maybe there is not.
Yeah, maybe it's like Middle Chinese. Hint, hint.
I don't know anything about that.
Anyway.
Okay, so interesting. Then we have our fricatives. We have
with your beloved aspirated S.
Yes.
Ta.
Which always makes me think of Korean.
Yeah.
So we have our aspirated S and our unaspirated S, our velar fricative, our glottal fricative, and then we have some stuff going on. We have our lateral affricate, our aspirated lateral affricate, tla, tla, and cha and ja. And then we have our liquids, la, ra, lia, the plain lateral fricative, and yeah, and that's the phonology. Oh, there's also a glottal stop.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's very, it's like symmetrical and asymmetrical at the same time, which is beautiful. Yeah.
And speaking of which, the vowel system is a 4-vowel system. A, E, U, but kind of O as well.
O, yeah, and U.
And U. And presumably, I think this means that we have variation between E and A.
Yeah, I remember I suggested that, but yeah.
Okay. So is this variation, is this alternation between O and U conditioned, or is it free variation?
Interesting.
Okay,
we don't have
it.
any uvulas. That's one condition that might like lower it.
Another condition is closed syllables.
That can be, yeah. So in closed syllables, it drops down to O. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. E, U are A, O in closed syllables.
Yeah, I like that.
And we can keep writing O and U differently. Or we can just write it. I think it would be a bit confusing if we...
so far we don't have U yet, so that's not a problem.
Okay.
I don't think we have any U yet in our writings.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, we have tone, and we have tone sandhi. So we have what tonal categories? We have high, mid, low, high falling, mid falling, and rising.
And rising, yes.
Okay. And then we have a sandhi system which evens out the... So we have an assimilatory sandhi type A, where it goes 5 1 3 1. Do you remember something?
I think it's both dissimilatory, is it? Like it's two falling tones turning into falling rising. So
I see that
Yeah.
as assimilatory because instead of having fall, rise, fall, you have to rise to get up to that second fall. It just turns it into a
Oh, I
rise.
see. Yeah, that makes sense. Or you can argue with like co-articulation or something.
Mm-hmm.
With yeah.
Whereas here we have this low falling low going to low falling low
Yeah,
falling.
that is like yeah, proper dissimilatory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what we have, and then I think we had some question about. This is one of those things where I should have prepared. Don't clip that. 513111 going to 512411.
Oh,
So
that's yeah. I think you can just delete that because it's a bit of a mess, and we haven't really talked about like Sandy domains and things
okay,
like that.
so let's
So
delete this for now.
right.
All right. So what's our next task? How do we revive this language?
I think yeah, one spice that I'm thinking about and also I think we discussed this is how about tonal morphemes or like some kind of tonal thing, or it can be a syllable or it can be even a floating tone if that is not wild, not like out there to just like you know for example, we could have like some kind of grammatical function, say tense or like person marking or like or something else that can be executed by tones.
Let's do case.
Oh, Ship also, yeah, Ship is excited about tonal noun cases.
Yes,
Wow.
ship. Speaking of ship, we have a request from the Discord, which from the chat, which I think Quain, you're best equipped
Hmm.
to answer, which is, could you demonstrate the difference between high falling and mid falling?
Okay. High falling is ah. Mid falling is ah.
So there you have it.
Yeah. So it's one is more drastic than the other.
So I'll try it. Ah versus ah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think of how that would map onto.
Yeah,
It,
ah is out. It's like oh, but ah is like a sadder version of like oh.
it's like the O of surprise, like oh, versus
Yeah,
oh, like
yeah,
the
oh.
disappointed O.
Yeah, it's a sad, like disappointed or like depressed or just yeah.
So that helps, although I can't really internalize that myself. But that's how I explain it.
Okay,
Okay.
so let's work on some tonal cases
All
then,
right.
shall we?
So let's give ourselves an accusative. We have a sentence with two transitive clauses here. So I think we can have an unmarked nominative, and then for accusative, we do something tonal.
Yeah.
So how would a floating tone work in this kind of tonal language?
I think there are two ways basically. So one, you kind of just add up the tones, whatever they are. So for example, you have stew here, stew, right? And if I attach a tonal morpheme, let's say just like hypothetically, just R55, right? So if I add R as the accusative marker, there are two ways to go about it. So the first way is R. So it's just like so it's like 315, which is the tone. So that like in turn creates a new tone, essentially. But it's like pretty clear that it's combined with is combined from 3-1 and 5-5. So that is the first like more how can I say it, transparent way of doing that, right? So, and the more opaque way is that just overrides things like 5-5, make it 5-5, and everything is 5-5. So, yeah, that's the second way. And then maybe like something in between, like it can go into a 3-5 or go into one of the existing tones. So we come back to the problem of whether it's structure preserving or structure innovating building, right? So that's the same problem, that whether you stay in the phonological system or you go out of it.
Mm-hmm. What if we had it? I'm thinking of something kind of maybe a little perverse.
Go ahead.
What if we had
perverse?
Like, so there's an idea that seems to work for some morphophonological phenomena,
Mm-hmm.
which is called morpheme realization constraints. And morpheme realization constraints are things that say when you have morphology, it has to be expressed phonologically somehow. But how will be different depending on the circumstances. So this is one of the analyses that that initial consonant mutation in Celtic languages.
Your beloved Irish.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is one of the analyses of that, which is that you have to mark this morphological category somehow. But how you do it is going to depend on what you start with. So if you are a stop, the way to realize this morphological category is to become a fricative. If you are a fricative already, then you can't become a fricative because you already are a fricative, so you have to debuccalize. If and so there isn't a consistent operation.
Or it's like a ladder, or that kind of thing also like occurs in, for example, like consonant gradation, right? And like languages like Finnish, as far as I know. And so it's like,
they have historical reasons, but in the synchronic grammar, they are essentially acting like this kind of morpheme realization constraint is operational. That is one analysis of those phenomena. It's not the only one, but I'm thinking, what if we had a change tone somehow morpheme
that is shown as like different tones depending on the tones?
Would that be too perverse?
I get what you're saying, and I like it, but chat, is that too perverse, or are we good?
I think
I see Taga also mentioning something about Sunday, which we can play with, right? So like, imagine like it's something to do with Sunday, but whether like nominative we don't have Sunday, but accusative we do, or something like that. That's very perverse, but I like it.
So everyone in the chat who's weighed in has said that they like it.
Ship March, they all liked it. They all ship it. So yeah,
I don't think this is going to have the. I don't think Quat is going to have the uptake of Quack.
Yeah, that's expected, because we're here just like chilling and talking about Sunday, where like a lot of people who don't necessarily know what Sunday is would be like, oh, what is this? So
exactly.
It's for the lovers, or the people who care about this stuff.
This one's going out to all the lovers out there.
Yeah.
All right. So
anyway,
I'm seeing
how would we do that? Yeah.
Okay. Let's think of how we do this. I want to say it looks like we've lost the YouTube chat on the feed. I don't know what's going on. YouTube seems to be hiccuping a bit today. So I will do my best to read out the things that come in from the YouTube chat, so everyone can see it.
Oh, I can see it. I'm on it. I don't. Yeah. Maybe it's a problem.
It's just not showing up on the recording. So that's a shame.
Not. Yeah.
So for posterity, I'll say it. Okay. So. So how are we going to do this? We have, let's say, accusative is one of these things that is just marked by changing the tone. So what if we just said all change, 5-5 goes to 3-3, 3-3 goes to 1-1, and we just go down.
It's like a cycle, right? Is
Yeah.
that what you're thinking about?
Well,
So
that's something that could happen.
yeah, it is like, and maybe it's a relic of like previously active Sandy processes. We don't know, right?
But I think, you know, if it's just a plain circle, maybe that's a little too boring. Maybe there's a merger.
Okay, yeah. What are your more perverse, even more perverse ideas?
Well, what if 553311 go in a cycle and then the other ones?
Oh yeah, that's actually exactly what I'm thinking about.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not like a big cycle. It's because when you mentioned like 5 going to 3 going to 1 and 1 yeah, it has nowhere to go, so it must go to 5. I guess that's the case, right?
Yep.
So like, yeah. Oh god,
So
this is gonna be a whole new level of shuffling that we're dealing with.
It's called tone shift. I don't know what we call this. Let's just call X.
Yeah.
So
well, X equals to some cycling action.
Oh, except I forgot. This is not S. This is not SVO. This is SOV.
Yeah. This is. Oh yeah. Your glosses are. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's wrong.
Okay. So since the level tones are in their own circle, and the contour tones are in their own circle. Is that okay? So let's just say accusative 3 3. You can see it, right? I'm typing.
Yeah.
3 3 1 1 5 5. And what about the other three? So 5 1 goes to 3 1. I think that's somehow reasonable. 3 1 goes to. We could have some asymmetry in a sense.
I like this. This is what this
3
language
1
is all
goes
about.
To 1 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
3 1 goes to 1 1. And 2 4. You go ahead.
Oh dear.
What are you gonna do?
I think I got the hard one.
Yeah, it is the hard one because it's the only rising tone, and so far our contours are either like level or like accusative is sort of like this flat tone case at this point.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Well,
yeah.
Why don't we go 2 4 to 5 5 then?
I like it. Yeah.
My thinking here is it goes to the sort of unmarked. You know, like
it seems to go to the like end point, but like the extended end point. Yeah, if you know what I mean by that. So, but it doesn't hold up with the contour with the level tones because level tones are just shuffling. But the contour tones like 5 1 is low and 3 1 is low, so these two are ending up like lower, even lower, and 2 4 goes to higher, which I like it.
It's like you can push it down as far as you can go.
Yeah.
And then once it goes
starting starting to bounce up.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that is the accusative tonal mutation.
Okay.
So then we have essentially.
Yeah. Do we want more cases?
I think we have to have more cases.
Under that. Yeah, we have to.
So I'm gonna just say 5 5 3 3 3 1 1 1. So now instead of going hlu, we go hlu, and instead of going su, we go su.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, and that I think that sentence should not have Sandy to begin with because it's like SOV. It's like pretty clear which is which, so it's not like interacting that much, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so that is good. And cool. Maybe we can do genitive and call it a day because we're like
we're getting close to the
out of time. Yeah.
All right, so I think genitive
I'm thinking it has to be something that has a phonetic component, like has a phonological, like form, which together with the tone, it can change the tone somehow.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you agree? Or
Let's do it.
okay.
I'm just
So
like I'm looking very
genitive.
evil on screen right now.
Oh, yeah, we're just like conspiring at this point. Um, okay. Genitive chat. Any suggestions of what the genitive morpheme should be?
I keep Tay-daying away from the mic to take my my drinks of water. I find it quite
Oh.
amusing. I laugh to myself every time I do it.
I'm looking at chat. Okay, Target says maybe a genitive has stronger sounding on it because it always expects another morpheme. I quite like that idea. Yeah, actually, yeah.
I like.
Like considering, it's like a clitic, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like something that you, attach onto something else.
And Ships
So
had a great. I like this r. What if r
yeah, we
is the?
have we have r, we have yu, and we also have klom, which is a wild one.
I love that one. What I was thinking is, if we use r, we can actually just overwrite codas, because this language doesn't seem to really care that much about the integrity of its roots.
Mm.
So
Yeah, we're already like destroying roots. Like we don't care about the like keeping its originality, so to speak. So yeah, let's go for it.
All right.
If okay, Marsh says I like R and R, or Target says R looks cool. So yeah, people are all for it. So
All right. So genitive is R.
with Sunday.
Yep. What Sunday?
Yeah, that's the question. It can what Sunday?
What if we have
Maybe it's just R with the plain our ordinary version of Sunday. So But the thing is, our Sunday is left dominant. So it like what part are we keeping and what part are we Sundaying is the question.
Well, we don't have another tone to Sunday yet.
Yeah.
I
And
think
since like the R itself doesn't carry tone unless we make it so. Which we can.
Which we can.
So,
the other option is that we can do another mutation and just have two mutations. Like we have mutation X and mutation Y. And mutation X is this one, and mutation Y is a different one. And the accusative is just...
This is like full-on tonal Irish at this point.
Yep. It's... Okay, guys, we're doing tonal Irish. Tonal Irish. Fellas, it's a tonal Irish.
Okay, so what about just the other direction then?
All right.
Like, yeah. You know what I mean, right? So like 5533 and what about the other ones? So 2-4 I think we'll go to 5-1 because that's exciting.
3-1 to 5-1.
5 yeah, and
5-1 to 5-5.
Like that. Take that. Cool.
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 All right. Well, this has been a very productive
so the genitive is like mutation Y plus R. Yeah. As you have already written. So yeah.
And so just so that we can show one form, let's say the owl eats...
yeah, maybe chicken soup is like chicken genitive soup, right? So yeah.
The chicken eats chicken soup. That's cannibalistic, though. I don't know about that. That's...
No, not in the sentence. Just as its own phrase.
Okay.
Like, yeah. Or the human. We can coin a term for person and just say person eats chicken.
Max is asking why Kaparsky is just written down there.
Oh yeah. Kaparsky is just it's having a party with us. Yeah, nothing special.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Though, if we could, we could get some big name linguists on the stream.
Yeah, I've seen him, and he's a nice fella. Anyway,
If you're watching,
so
standing invitation.
okay, so person. Yeah, maybe we can just coin it ourselves because we're running out of time.
All right.
Okay. Let's have it start with Cl then, because I don't know. Tiger, I think, suggested. Oh, Jack actually
Jack.
suggested someone with Cl.
Clom.
So, Clom, yeah, Clom can be person. Why not?
That's Jack's suggestion. Let's put it in. Clom.
Yeah.
Person.
Clom.
And why do I have all of this? I don't know. All right. So, what's our possessor possessum order?
Given that, okay, we are sort of head final, right?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, so yeah. So we'd go with like oh god, I can't distinguish the two. Like yeah, head final, so it's possessum. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know how strong that correlation is. Like the correlation between VO
Yeah.
and
Because like it can vary. I get your point.
But let's so for the sake of getting something on paper, again, paper.
Yeah.
Let's go where we need some space. Let's put it here. So what did you say? Possessor, possessum?
Yeah.
Okay, so why do we have person here? Oh yeah, the person.
So chicken genitive soup is what I was suggesting.
So person, chicken, genitive, soup, eat, right?
Yeah. Oh, space. We can. Yeah, I will sweep the inspirations out of sight.
Thank you.
For now. Okay. Mickey. Oh, even I'm having trouble pronouncing this language. How fantastic!
So this should be like this, right?
Mickey. Wait.
Because it's so 1-1 going to
3-3. Okay, so 5-1-1 is going to 3-3. So yeah, that's
this
the
is
big kid.
So this is like unreadable.
No, don't do that. Oh my god, that's hideous. I think just 1-1, 2, 3-3. Maybe. That's. Oh, I can't think of a good way to put it.
Maybe
right
slash.
Now, yeah. To 3-3 to R3-3 maybe. Maybe that's better. I don't know.
But but this is no longer 1-1.
Yeah, I know that is no longer okay.
This is
maybe that's better. Yeah.
This is something. So okay, what's our sentence? It means the person eats chicken soup.
Yeah.
And Quain, will you do the honors?
Oh, I would attempt. Okay. Klom bikir tu nyam. Okay. I think I did it justice. Yeah.
I think you did it justice. Wow.
Okay.
We are at time though, chat, YouTube, everyone. Let's call it a day here. YouTube, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Quain, for coming on. This has been an absolute delight.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here for the second time. Which
thumbs up.
Yeah, and hopefully more.
Oh yes, indeed. We've got unfinished business.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, YouTube. Niskam and Birai.
Yeah, Birai, Yar.
Yeah. All right, chat. This has been absolutely delightful. I have had a blast. What a great way to bring the week to a close.
We did so much work.
We did so much work.
In those 2 hours. Yeah.
We got a lot done. A few things for those watching or present. 2 things. We're back to Tuesdays next week. So come on Tuesday. That'll be great. And so same time, but just on Tuesdays, like we used to have before October. And the second thing to say is be sure to get your votes in the fan fiction contest, because it is ending on Tuesday, and we will announce the winner on the Tuesday stream. So, other than that, if you're watching and you're not a member of the Discord, I would encourage you to click the link, because there is a renaissance going on in a language called Quack. And if you don't know about Quack, there are going to be a lot of inside jokes that fly sort of somewhere.
Yeah, it's like on its way to become a lingua franca. So,
yeah.
There you go.
So, everyone get studying up. Other than that, again, big thanks to Quain for joining us today. What a pleasure it has been having you on the stream.
No problem. Glad to help.
And chat, thank you for joining us, for all your suggestions. You helped us with our reconstruction immeasurably. And I think with that, I will bid you a pleasant morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever it is, wherever you are.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. And as Lucy says, please like the stream, because algorithms.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, all that jazz.
All that good jazz. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
See you next time.